All right. Hey, Scott. Hey, Jamie. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, Andy. Doing
All
well.
right. You ready for this fun-filled afternoon?
Well, it's been a fun-filled day already. I'm ready for more.
All right. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for coming this afternoon. I see a lot of regulars in here, and I'm seeing some new names that I haven't seen before. So that's always great to see. We will spend some time today satisfying both of you. So without further ado, let's just move on to our disclaimer here. Guys, I want to remind everybody that this is for educational purposes only, okay? You're going to see us talking about some trades or some potential trades, some nice setups, but just want you to know that anything you see in here should not be construed as investment advice, and if that's what you're looking for, you probably want to seek out an RIA or a registered advisor. Okay, but Jamie and I have been traders for a long time, so we hope we can convey some interesting strategies or points that help you in your trading. Uh, this is mostly for the new people. The regulars in here, they know about our support, education, and training, and we hear about it all the time, and we appreciate your input, guys. We are something we are very proud of. If you're in here kicking the tires, guys, this uh, software, although very intuitive, can be a little daunting at times when you first get it because it is very powerful, and that's why we provide so much support, education, and training. Okay, we have webinars pretty much every day of the week on Monday through Thursday. You can come in here at the same time, 5 o'clock Eastern time, and catch a 1 hour webinar where we talk about trading, we talk about the software. Um, this is just really valuable information. When Jamie and I started trading, you didn't have this kind of stuff. You basically cut your teeth, just being thrown at the market and not having a software like Trade Ideas and just basically just learning, through the school of hard knocks. What's beautiful about this software and the support and training you get here is we can cut that learning curve pretty much in half or maybe even in, 3/4 of it off. So we have a trading room with Barry Arneson. I know a lot of you guys go there because there's about 500 in there every day. Uh, if you haven't, hey, go in there. You can watch and look at our platform live and listen to our professional trader and moderator Barry navigate the market and call out trades that he finds using our software. So great place, guys. If you're a new trader, it doesn't matter if I don't care how much experience you got. It's still a great hangout. Friday's support session, guys. This is great stuff. I've had people that take training sessions with me, and I tell them to come in here to this Friday support session if you want to learn a whole lot more, and they do. It's a great place to come, ask questions. Even if you're not a subscriber, come in there and you can learn a lot more about how we use the software. That's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Friday. Get in there. If you're not in the trading room, this is where you should be because you can learn a lot of stuff about the software. And one last thing, and probably we save the best for last, is you get a free one-on-one hour of power training when you subscribe to Trade Ideas. This is a $99 value. It's with myself or Jamie or Steve, and now we have Sean, who's a longtime trader that's also doing it with us. So guys, you really, please, when you subscribe, sign up for this. It's a very valuable hour, and it can help you with the software as well as trading strategies. For the advanced guys out there who like to develop their own strategies and want to auto trade it, you can do that now through Interactive Broker. And we do have a module called our Brokerage Plus. And the way that works is you create a strategy. This module will automatically hook your strategy up to IB Broker, and you can pretty much go do what you want to and let your strategy auto trade for you. This is advanced, okay, guys? So, be careful. If you want more information about that, trade-ideas.com/beta. Let's take a look at the agenda for today. I think that's our next one, and there it is. Wow, Jamie, rats foiled again. The bears are screaming.
Yes, yes.
Boy, we'll talk about the market recap. I know anybody who's trading actively knows exactly what happened and what I'm talking about today. First, basically 3 hours of the day was pretty much
Little
volume,
bloodletting,
dude.
little bloodletting.
Yeah, and with volume, and lo and behold, it's the same story over and over up until this point. The price action stops going down. The buy the dippers step in, and we bounce back again today. Uh, So yeah, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Holly recap, not a whole lot to talk about today. Yeah, this price action, I think I may have had Holly a little bit, you know, off guard, caught
Well,
off guard. The gaps sometimes have a way of making it difficult for Holly. I mean, the last 3 days before this have been great, but today, yeah, not a whole lot to talk about. But we'll definitely recap it. We're not going to hide anything here. And for you Mac users out there, or anybody who may be trading at work and you're behind a firewall and you can't download our app, we're going to talk about what's coming in the TI web. And we've been waiting a while for this, and you guys are going to be excited. And I'll give you a glimpse of that. I'm excited about talking about the red resistance line. And Jamie, you call it I love what you call it, but I never can remember it. The smart something.
Well, it's kind of well. There's two different ways that the charts will show you those levels, right? If you're using the new high alert as your trigger in the alert window, then you're going to notice the red line, yeah, the thin red line, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah, I could. The last week you had a clever name for that, but maybe
yeah,
it's like market or smart. Maybe it'll come to
about the smart layer. Well, that's
smart layer. Yeah, I like that.
Actually, the red line is actually different than the smart layer, I think. But we can look at it on the chart and
you know what? I have no problem calling it the red line. So but we're going to talk about the red line because guys, I really think you should be, especially you new traders, you really want to pay attention to the red line. And I'm going to give you several examples today of the red line. So, and then I'm going to throw in some stocks for you guys to keep an eye on. So let me back out of this and let's pull up. I didn't mean to go there. And let's pull up the SPY chart and tell us, you know what, I'm going to pull up the 15-minute first. Whoa, let me zoom in a little bit. And let's pull up the SPY chart. So this is what we had today. Now I have my post-market and pre-market showing on my charts, so kind of bear with me. You know what, I'm going to take that off for now so you can get a really good look at the, let's take post-market off. Okay, we'll deal with pre-market. So this is yesterday's close. This morning we came in, we had a gap down, you know, based basically on what happened on the Nikkei overnight. Nikkei fell about 850 points and got most of it back, I think. But anyway, it caused some volatility to come into the market, and you saw it today in our market. Gap down, and for the first hour, it looks like we may be trying to bounce, and then all of a sudden we rolled over and sold off pretty hard. So basically, you know, this is 3 hours into the day, and we have nothing but pretty much down action. And there you have it, guys. And you can kind of see the volume bar coming in there on this, what we call spinning top there. And that was the bottom, that wick. And buy the dippers come in, and we just marched this thing all the way back. Tried to go to highs, could not quite get there, and then backed off a little bit. But nonetheless, you know, once again, Charlie and the football, you know, we talk about it a lot in here. Let me pull over this and pull up the daily now, because we like to focus mostly on the daily here. But I did want to show you that action this morning. And so here's what we got. We have a market that pretty much gapped down, you know, pretty much to a 3-day low there and tried to sell off, you know, found some support down here and bounce right back up into its range that it's kind of in right now. It's got to be so frustrating, you know, well, first of all, like I mentioned, I don't think there's a whole lot of bears in the market at this point, but trust me, being a trader of 20 years, and Jamie can tell you a lot, the same too, it's so enticing when you have a market that's been, you know, going straight up forever, it seems like, to pick that top. But I can promise you, yeah, more, people, when you get to these levels, they will start throwing out, small shorts, whether it's be buying VIX or just shorting the S&P 500, whatever they're doing. Trust me, shorts are, coming back into the game. But this move ran out so many of them, just a small percentage of shorts in the market. But Jamie, look at that big old tail. Now we got to kind of use that high of the day, and if we get back above this tomorrow, then we got to start looking back at this high. I know it's frustrating not only for bears, but also a lot of people who want to get long the market, who have been waiting for this 3% pullback in the market for almost a year, and you're not getting it, and this market's just not giving it to you. And I'm afraid what's going to happen, because I've traded long enough to know when you get markets overextended like this, what, when the 3% comes, it's usually going to be a lot deeper than 3%, but it's going to sucker all those ones that have been sitting on the sideline. But let's just go through the other ones real quickly. I mean, it's the same story all the way around. You're going to see big tails all the way throughout. There's the Qs. There's a look at the diamonds. Pretty much a perfect doji in the diamonds. Big tail took out, almost about a whole, close to over a week of lows, and then bounced back. IWM not as constructed looking. I mean, this thing has kind of not really broken down, but not near as attractive as the other ones I showed you. So still a lot of work to be done to get this thing, back to where it's looking like the other guys.
Yep, almost all the way back down to that break point,
Yeah, I mean, and really, you look down below, the only real true resistance I see would probably be right here. So we'll see if it makes it there. But yeah, this is one that probably got a little bit ahead of itself. See smaller cap stocks, and are definitely been seeing maybe some distribution over the last month in there. But Jamie, do you have anything you want to add to the market recap? I thought it was going to be a more interesting discussion. As a matter of fact, I remember Skyping Steve and just telling me, at least I may have, maybe an interesting market recap today. But lo and behold,
if you pull the SPY back up real quick there,
sure.
Andy. I mean, considering the fact that we are in a market that defying gravity and still is, and then look at the close today. I mean, it kind of just seems like, we really didn't even build a range there for a while. It was just those little highs, and we're taking a pullback down to the lower extremes today. And the volume was healthy, and like I said earlier, a little bloodletting, like they used to do in the old days. Well, I think it had to do that. We had to have a little selling. You can't just be constant up. And of course, the way it closed makes me feel like it's just going to be bubbling up towards the highs. Of course, not trying to predict. It's just that's what it feels like right now. So the shorts got to have a little bit of fun today. And I know that all the people we talk to, the majority of people aren't really big on shorting. And of course, that's probably wise right now, because the type of market that we're in, it's more of a sharpshooting game most of the time, and you really have to kind of know your P's and Q's and be familiar with it. But to me, it just looks like a little necessary selling, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm going to give you guys, maybe 5 or 6 charts to keep an eye out tomorrow, and there's not one short in there. I mean, we play the hands that were dealt us, and right now I'm not seeing any shorting hands being dealt my way. I mean, it's just I'm not one to try to pick tops. But that being said, a day will come. The day will come, and it could be an ugly day when it does come. Just through my experience over the years, but when it comes, who knows? That's the big question. I mean, gosh,
yeah, it's a good time to start practicing, right? If you know it's going to be coming, well, you better sharpen those skills up, just so that when things do change, you're not trying to play catch up. You're already comfortable with the process.
Absolutely. All right, but I'm going to hand it over to Jamie here in a bit. But before I do, I just want to talk about one little trade this morning, and because like we were just saying, picking tops is tough to do. And if you guys were noticing today, Holly fired off a short under Trox. Now, you have to understand, Holly's not necessarily picking tops. She's playing what's called statistical probability. And we don't know all of her filter sets she came equipped with today. I mean, I could go into our back end and look at them, but you know, if you're sitting here watching this chart and you're looking at the daily here, you don't really see any resistance. You know, you may be thinking, gosh, why is Holly trying to pick a top? Well, remember, she's not looking at a chart and picking a top. She's playing statistical probability. And what happened today is you had a mark, and she looks at a stock that's trying to break out, and she may be looking at a SPNY filter, you know, and she's seeing that the market is down, and now you have a stock, you know, that's trying to break out. Now, so if you see that, if you're playing Holly and you see that, there's a couple of ways you can play this. You can say, well, Holly, I'm playing this. I'm gonna look over here and see selling strength had a 67% percentage, winning percentage, a profit factor of 2.14. Those are both good. You know, I'm gonna go in with her, and maybe you did, and maybe you got stopped out. Maybe you have the mindset, well, Holly's trading this, but the stock is at all-time highs or whatever, yearly high. I'm not sure. I didn't go back far enough to look, but well, let's take a little quick gander. Yeah, I'm not seeing any resistance in this thing. So I'm not jumping in front of this freight train, which is fine. So maybe you just say, Jamie and I were talking earlier, and then Jamie's theory is like, you know, maybe you want to watch this. Maybe you don't want to jump into the freight train while it's going to highs, but maybe if it goes higher, maybe you put an alert, a price alert down here, kind of like where Holly's line is, and then if it reverses and comes back down, you know, that's a way to play it. But I just want you to remember that Holly's not necessarily picking a top. Technically, if you look at the chart, yeah, she is, but she is playing statistical probability. This would have, and she was early. You know what? We could say she's early, but she was also wrong because she got stopped out. Okay, but I was just kind of giving you an idea of how to look at when you see Holly, because these fading strategies, they're counterintuitive. You're going against the grain. So when you're going against the grain, you want to do it cautiously. Okay, so. That being said, I mean, you can look at the trade, the risk on profit, you know, had you held it was up 90 cents. But just remember, don't just write these off that that's a short, I'm not going to take it, because it was actually, you know, if you, man playing with machine, played this right, this could have been, you know, a very good trade. All right, Jamie, I hope you didn't mind me doing that, but.
No, sir, not at all.
Okay. I'll let you take over.
All right, I think I got it here. I think I got it. Just let me know when you can see me.
I can.
Perfect. Okay, welcome to my desktop, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, while we're talking about Holly, let's see here. So what I'd like to add is we're looking at a 5-minute candlestick here. Of course, same thing we were seeing on Andy's screen on the daily, you know. Usually, from a manual standpoint, I'm playing these things because I like these breakouts, right? But Holly countered this one today. So, you know, Andy and I and Steve and Sean, we deal with tons and tons of clients on a monthly basis. And, you know, when you're getting used to the model known as Holly, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Probably, you know, a good majority of our clients aren't simply blindly just going click as soon as Holly pulls out a trade. You know, they might watch, they might size up the pattern themselves depending on their comfort level. But in this case, the way I choose to look at it is you either took it or you didn't, you were out of the money, or maybe you didn't even take the trade, maybe you were just watching it, right? So we see Holly getting red on the blotter during the day, and then we see her get stopped out. All right, which stop hits today, we had 1, 2, and 3. Usually Holly is exiting on profit and reduced risk, and then you'll see maybe 1 stop out. Today, different day, 3 stop outs hit. So whether you see you're just in the red on a trade that you're not in, or maybe you just did a little feeler 10 share lot, depending on your commission structure or whatever, then one of the simpler ways to deal with these things is once it's out of the money or once it gets stopped, as Andy was saying earlier, we just go and set our price alert for the second occurrence. Now, we talk about this all the time. Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll hug the line for a while and pass 2 or 3 times through this entry line before they go. Now, we're used to seeing this to the upside. Of course, this is the inverse version of it today. So whether you were in a little bit and got stopped out, or whether you just saw Holly get stopped out, set that price alert. This time, it was no sweat. Of course, hindsight trading is always 20/20, but this is a methodology, right? You set the price alert. If it comes back down, you get the alert. If it would have kept going, you never would have got the alert. So it's just giving you a second opportunity to play that statistical probability, which, by the way, is good for the day. These are good for the day, so that's why it's always a good habit to get in the habit. It's always a good idea to get in the habit of just resetting the price alert when you see Holly out of the money, whether it's a long or a short. Okay, so what I'd like to do is kind of regress here for a moment and kind of just drag this over and let you guys see. Here's Holly's performance today on risk on and risk off. If we go all the way back to the 30th, that was the last time Holly had a losing day. And so I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you that since that point, I mean, she was on a good tear here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days in a row, she had posted some pretty significant gains here. So in lieu of that, you know, seeing her only up 49 cents on risk on and down $1.61 on risk off, not that big of a surprise. You know, every system's going to take its pullbacks, and today was Holly's. And of course, we're not. I mean, Andy, I'm not used to seeing this, buddy, right here.
No, I'm not sure I ever saw that.
But you know what? But you know what? I got to tell you, my expectations were right on the money this morning. And let me expound upon that. So, for those of you who are regular attendees, you know what these guys are right here. And hopefully, you've got copies of them, and you saw the same thing that I saw 15 minutes into the open today. Now, for those and the beautiful thing about it was the market hadn't really done anything yet. You know, a lot of the times when we have these big rip ups and rip downs, that can kind of skew the data, just as a gap can throw a kink into a statistical model. All right, so these are 5-minute candles here. So 5, 10, 15. Right at the end of this candle, I get my tell, and we had just barely broken that little area right there. So 15 minutes, my windows are telling me, my compare count windows are telling me, look, there was a lot more hardcore selling in the first 15 minutes with accelerated volume. Those are the institutions leaving footprints, digital footprints. That's what we're using these windows to track. All right, and of course it's not instantaneous, right? So we get the alert here, 15 minutes. Hey, you know, be cautious. Now on top of that, Holly's deck is stacked predominantly long, as it always is. Every once in a while, you know, we had one day not too long ago where she had an even amount of shorts and longs, but typically it's stacked long for obvious reasons. So I get my compare count readings about right here, telling me, you know, better be cautious today, better take it easy on the longs. And then what do we see Holly doing? She doesn't even execute a trade until about 30 minutes into the open. You know, stakes her little buys here. Hey, I'm designed to go long right now. I'm going long. 3 longs coupled with a short. These guys actually triggered at the exact same time. All right, but this is the storyteller right here. All right, a little bit of profitability and then whoosh, and never saw the light of day again. So I've already got my compare count readings telling me, abnormal high selling metrics to the downside, the biases to the downside. Holly's struggling. Holly didn't even trade until 30 minutes into the open, and now she can't get profitable. And this is risk off. So this tells me also, this reaffirms what these guys were whispering to me earlier. So, and then risk on, I mean, this looks like an EKG, a cardiogram on somebody's heart. Profitable, negative, profitable, negative, profitable, negative, profitable. How many times is that going to happen? So when you see those compare count readings, 60% selling bias in the first 15 minutes, you see Holly struggling. That tells us something, right? If this model's having a problem, well, long's not where it's at today. Short is where it's at. If you don't go short, well, as we were talking about earlier, you don't have to jump in headlong, but it's probably a good time to start practicing and spotting those patterns so that when the time comes, you're a little bit better prepared. Other than that, you know, when we look at Holly's trades today, and of course, I think this is a first time where we see all strategies show zero because looking at risk off, you know. RSG, kind of the opposite of Trox, all right? RSG, get in here before too long. Holly can't take it anymore. She closes it out about right here before the stop hits, right? So look, it still gravitated and popped that line a second time. Then it took almost all day, but it did finally come and pop that line a third time. Of course, that's when the market was turning, but still, remember, statistical probability is good for the day. So just because a trade doesn't work the first time doesn't mean it might not work the second or the third penetration through there, especially if the market, you know, has put in its bottom as well. All right. So keep that in mind. Even on a day like today, these symbols still need to be kept, you know, you can still keep track on them and then potentially get that second or third entry depending on how the day plays out. But, you know, hopefully what I'm laying out here, and I like to reiterate this, watching these windows, all right, knowing to set your price alerts for maybe a second or third entry on a not profitable or a stopped out trade on Holly, these are all parts of a methodology that, you know, it's reacting. It's just reacting to what's happening, which is a way to keep very in tune with your surroundings, which is very important, right? If we're going to go sailing, we better know what the weather conditions are at all times. We better have fuel. We better have all the stuff that we need. And the same thing holds true with trading. You know, I knew the selling was there. We had the gap down. We see Holly struggling. Today, she's what we call the canary in the coal mine, right? If she's having a problem going long, that tells us something too, coupled with some of our other, you know, bread and butter metrics like the compare count windows. And Holly can you know, keep our expectations in line. So you really had a couple of choices today. You could have waited until the market bounced and tried to play it like that. Or if you're a short seller, you probably had a pretty good day, right? Let's see here.
Pretty good morning anyway.
Yeah. So, you know, taking Holly into consideration, taking her lumps like any trader will that's got a long bias today. And I'm just looking at the blotter here to see if I missed anything, but I really don't see anything. You know, possible trade around in this guy to the long side, possible trade around to this guy on the downside on the second occurrence here. But you know, there were just so many short things coming through, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I saw this today, which was really odd. I haven't seen this either. At one point in the day, pack leaders had about 3 stocks on it, where this guy had this many. Now, these are inverses of one another. This is looking at stocks, kind of like that Trox play today, where the stock has to be at lifetime highs, not just 52-week highs, but, you know, pushing all-time highs. So when we look at these stocks, boom, they're going. I mean, this little guy didn't care today. You know, he still had a nice up day. But I'm seeing more of these guys show up now. Animals that aren't typically in the forest are coming around now. These guys are at they're the exact opposite of those guys. They're pretty much abyss bound, right? That little guy cracked and hadn't let up yet, right? So, you can apply everything that we're showing you on the long side, and now, hey, no surprise here that Sears is in the toilet, right? But once you're able to identify these guys are in, they've made the commitment, they held their breath, and they just jumped in, and now they're sinking deeper and deeper down Mariana's Trench, right? Where they're going to stop, nobody knows. But if you've got a list, or hey, Pandora, I love Pandora. Too bad poor little Pandora is also taking a header into the abyss. And see, these are the patterns that are going to start jumping out at you. This is Pandora on a 5-minute. Wow, what some nice entries we had on the intraday. Yeah. Complete opposite of what we're used to. Say you made a nice little range break play here, and you're in the money, and you're like, where's the support?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there is none. So that's not a guarantee. It's just going to plummet for days in a row, but it's a very nice attribute to have if you're short a stock, just like this is a very nice attribute to have if you're long a stock, right? No resistance, no support over here. All right, Andy, I don't want to take up all the time here, so
no worries.
I just wanted to take a little bit of an opportunity to let people know. Does this mean anything? Does this mean that we're close to a top? I have no idea. All I know is that these guys are showing up now, whereas there used to be maybe 1 or 2 stocks on here, and they were so thinly traded, you wouldn't want to have anything to do with them. And before we leave, before I pass it back to Andy, I do feel compelled to do this. Here we have AIEQ, a relatively new ETF that only came online back in October 18. Now, once again, this is our AI's performance since inception. This is powered by Watson. IBM Watson. Well, I don't know. It looks like Watson's not doing too well. What it makes me think, Andy, is that Watson, the thing that won Jeopardy and made all the humans fools, it's a great technology. But it appears to me that the information that they're feeding Watson isn't so good, right?
I agree.
Because he's looking at all the data. Well, guess what? You and me, everybody else, we know that most of the data out there is garbage, right? Most information on the internet is pretty much garbage. You have to really go find the quality information. So it kind of seems like Watson's having an issue. Best of luck to Watson. Maybe he should get a training session from Holly. All right, here it comes back to you.
All right, man. Thanks. All right, guys. I'm just trying to remember without going back to my stack what I had on the agenda next, and I believe I was going to show you guys the new web version. So let me just pull that up. Give me a second, and let's see where I have it. All right, go to the TI web here. You guys will not have access to this yet, but that's okay. Hopefully it's going to be coming soon. All right, so this is our web version for those of you guys who have not been on it yet. It's been making strides, okay? We do put a lot of, we have a lot of irons in the fire at all time, and of course where you guys can see how many versions of our app that we have coming out all the time. But that doesn't mean we're stopping, we're not working on our web version, and we have made some great strides. And I want to show you, if I scroll down in my channel bar, now you're going to see a couple of Holly AIs on here just because it's still in kind of developmental. But Holly AI is going to be available, ta-da, on the web version soon. So for any of you Mac users out there, this is going to be very exciting for you. And you can kind of see this is kind of just a scaffolding right now. Okay, we will definitely be making improvements on this. You have the obviously the charts, and now you have your AI profit. It shows you risk on and risk off at the same time. It's kind of a neat little feature. And then of course, I think you'd be able to click on the one that you wanted to show in the graph or in the histogram there. And then we have our our closed positions, our open positions, and these are the AI strategies that came to play. You can see the risk on, risk off. You can see the winning percentage, the back-tested results, which would be the winning percentage, I would think, right? Yeah, that's what that would be.
I believe so.
Definitely not profit factor. That would be impressive. But let's say you want to actually open this up in a different channel, because we have each of our channels kind of in a container window, as you can see right here. This is kind of like a little container window for our channels. So now you would be able to actually launch AI in basically on the same web layout. Let's pull up the strategies windows first, and there you see the strategies, and you could just kind of move them right there if you like. And you go over to new, and you can also, I'm kind of doing this for the first time. I did it real quickly with Steve for about 3 minutes, so this is kind of new for me as well. So if you see me stumbling through it, just okay, let's do all trades. We can go all trades right there, and that's going to give you, of course, all the trades instead of having them in a separate open and closed window. See if this, yeah, and the sorting function does work. Looks like it's all one click. It is.
Single clicks on those guys.
Okay. And I think there is one more thing we can actually pull up, and if we go to the histogram, we can pull up that separately as well. So this way, you could actually configure in, you know, just kind of like you do.
I like those better. They're bigger, and you can resize them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the histograms?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've been wanting, you know, in the client version, bigger ones, because you can play Holly's P&L just like you would a stock when you see certain breakouts, right? That lets you know, hey, I might want to step it up and be more aggressive. She's getting out of the hole, or, you know, breaking her resistance.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, guys, like I said, this is kind of bare bones scaffolding, but nonetheless, it's in the works, and boy, it's when we see it come to us, we know it's real close to coming to you. So this is going to be great for, like I said, any Mac users out there, or anybody that wants to kind of trade during work, but you can't download the app during work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trust me, it happens all the time. I do sessions, the guys at work whispering, "Hey, listen, I need to get," but anyway, some cool stuff here coming on our web version. Let's see here, John. Let's see. Where can I learn lingo like risk on and risk off? Good question. Yeah, this is the place, right, for sure. Basically, risk off is when you're taking every exit that Holly takes. Okay. Risk on is if you hold every trade until the close. This is what these values give you. Once again, risk off, Holly gets out for profit save, reduce risk, whatever exit she gets out of is going to tabulate under the risk off profit. If you were to hold every trade until the close, this would be your risk on profit. Now, we are not doing this, nor are we recommending that you hold every trade until the close, but what it does, it gives you an idea when you look up here, and I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my, let me log out of this. I am actually going to go back to my, to give him a better explanation. So when you're looking at this trades, I have a risk off column here and a risk on column here. So we do this for your benefit. So especially a new trader or somebody, you know, only been trading maybe for a year, we're trying to get people, you know, to maybe look at holding trades for longer instead of coming in here, jumping in and being a micro scalper or a piker, a lot of people call them, where you're just looking to catch momentum for 15 or 20 cents and jumping in and out. This is a way that we can show you without you having to go back and go through every little chart and look at them. You could see the exit that Holly got out on, and then you can also see if you would have held this trade all day, what it would have returned to you. So anytime we publish any of our performance records, it's always based on risk off. Okay, so when this day gets published, it's going to be down 161 on the day. It's not like we use the best of both worlds. But it's great to see, like in a trending day, today was a very sloppy day. You had a gap down, big down move, back up to close to highs. That's very sloppy. You know, typically that would be a risk-off day. This would just happen to be an anomaly because this short just kept working, and thus we had a pretty decent, you know, not decent, but not too bad of a day on risk on. So take each trade individually, okay? And if everything is lining up for you and setting up for you, and why aren't my charts? Probably because I'm not logged in because I signed out. Wait, let me get back on here. Uh-oh, I may have messed up, Jamie. Shouldn't this boot me off my other one?
It should. Are you trying to log back into your client though?
Yeah. Let me just do this. Let me just reset connection. There we go.
I don't know why it did that.
There we go. I should have just reset connection. I did that and it worked fine. Okay. So back to what I was explaining there. Yes, you want to just to give you an idea of risk off and risk on. Without you having to go through at the end of the day and look through each trade, you can easily look over here and see what your P&L would have been holding the trade until the close versus getting out. All right, the next thing I wanted to show you guys, oh yeah, we want to talk about the red line. And I'm going to pull up an old alert that I've probably been using for like 12 years. And it's called Master Blaster. And very simple alert. I mean, this is back when we didn't have a whole lot of filters and a whole lot of a whole lot of alerts. It's a simple filtered high, and we're going to take a look at the configuration here. And very simple. Price $2 or more. Volume in the 5 minute. This has to be doing 5 times normal volume. Change from 5 minute has to move 1%. So I'm looking for stocks where volume is coming in and there's actually some decent movement with it. It has to move 5% or more in the 5 minute time frame. Okay, position in 10-day range. I got it at 99, so I don't want to see stocks that are in the middle of a very sloppy 5 or 10-day range. I won't see at least breaking out of a 10-day range. But that's not what I want to show you. And if anybody wants this, it's very simple and I'll be happy to share it with you. But let's take a look at the history. I'm going to put it on today, and we're going to take a look through here. And I'm assuming, I haven't looked at this yet, but I'm assuming we're going to see some red lines. And we'll just start somewhere around 9 o'clock. So this morning. All right. Okay, there's our first one right there. So you have a stock here that alert went off right here just below the red line. Okay, what this red line is drawing for you is what's called resistance. This is where our technology is finding the resistance for you, the resistance line. You can see this chart this morning kind of poked through it, backed off, and then got back through it again. And now you're above this support resistance line. You know, the next stop could be up here. We'll see. But the point I want to make, guys, is when you see these, here's a great example. Okay, you have a chart here that was doing, all the filters were being met, but look at here, it was running right up until this resistance line, and look what happened. Went right through it and then backed off and never attacked it again. Just one assault and it was done. GMAD. I'm not seeing anything there. This one is probably because there's really not a whole lot of resistance in that one. It's pretty much through the resistance. Let's see. There's a good example. The chart this morning. Okay, if you're playing this, you see the going to new highs. You see it doing it on huge volume. But look right here, guys. Look at this red line. It's almost like drawing a line in the sand, and you want to wait for it to step over that line before you join forces with it and charge with it, because very simple, But I can't tell you how many people get suckered into volume and short-term chart reading and not looking at the big picture and looking for areas of resistance. Here's one that's kind of been in a nasty downtrend, but nonetheless, you can see right there when it backed off, finally got through it there on the close. NQ. All right, this is one of the stocks I wanted you to keep an eye on. That was on my list to show you today, guys, because and I'll go ahead and talk about it now, because it's a China play. Earnings yesterday, you can see the negative 1.29 yesterday morning, and this is one to watch. If this, if this can get above this level right here, you might want to keep on your radar, because China stocks have been really hot, and this is one that I would kind of keep an eye on. If it gets through that level, that red line from that our technology has drawn for you, and especially if it gets around that line right there. So keep an eye on that one. Jamie, I see you answering some questions. If you feel like there's anything I need to talk about, just interrupt me.
Mark had a question about it. Well, is there one for support? And yes, there is, but that's when you're using new low as the alert. When you use new high as the alert, it's going to show you resistance. When you use new low, it's going to mark that support line.
Absolutely. Look, to a T here. Yeah. Our technology draws the line for you. You're all excited. Day trader, you're coming in. You don't have a technology on your that's showing you these levels of support. Look at that. Ran right up to it, kissed it, and never attempted another assault of it. So once again, maybe you draw a price alert. If it gets through that, maybe you can get a little action earlier. I just can't, guys, I can't stress enough to you how easy that our technology is making it for you. For some people who may not be able to look up real quick and find those levels. Now this is textbook. Look at this right here. Came through at 9:54 this morning. Absolutely textbook. So you got the alert right here, and you see the line right here. Let's go back in time, and our technology is drawing it for you right there. It's using these two bars right there, and it got through it, and look at the follow through. So that's a decent trade there from 1484, and you can see there over $1 in that trade right there. But I think you guys are getting the picture. I know this one went right real close to it, because I was doing a session this morning when it was trading below there, and I said, you know what, I'd want to see that get above that line. So anyway, I could show you example after example in here, and you're going to see a lot of the same stuff over and over. There's another one, went right to the red line, barely poked through it, and then backed right off. So watch the red line, guys. They were created to help you in your trading, and I tell you, I would definitely use them. Resistance to what factor?
Yeah, Marguerite had a question about resistance to, so maybe we can give her, well, on that ECYT right there, if we were long the stock today and we were trying to set expectations, okay, we made a good intraday signal earlier, we're in the money, how far could this thing go? And so the red line's being drawn, Marguerite, to coincide with that red candle. What day was that back there, Andy, on the daily?
Yeah, let's look.
Yeah.
That would be the 23rd.
And you see, if you draw a line straight across from that guy, how this candle today butts right up there. And if we drew a line down at the bottom at the lower end of that range, you would see that the stock has been in a range between the lows and the highs. And so that would be support and resistance. So it ran out of steam right there at the top resistance level, because that red bar back then was acting as the ceiling.
Exactly. And not only that, I'm glad we brought this up, because not only could this could warn you into jumping into a stock if it's close to that red line, but it can also show you the potential of where a stock may be going if you're in a trade. So that, to me, yeah, this is a prime example. If you're in this one this morning, say you played this stock and you saw it break out of this range right here, and you're saying, wow, that's a breakout, I'm going to give this a chance. So let's say you bought it. Let's say you bought it around 590. Okay, let's pull it back so I can see the. Okay, that's a late alert. I'd have to go see if it came through earlier. I don't have time to do that, but let's say this alert came through early in the morning. You know, maybe you're out right here and you're in the stock. Well, now you can look and see. Okay, this looks like it has potential to run to the red line, which lo and behold, look right over there. We just drew you a perfect level of resistance. So two ways to play it. You know, if it's close to the red line, maybe you want to wait till it gets through. If it's, you know, far away from the red line and you don't see any other levels of potential resistance, maybe you want to, you know, trade it until it gets to that level. But nonetheless, guys, very important. This is I was so excited. A lot of people brush this off. To me, this is very, very exciting technology to basically show you where a stock may be going and where it may be running into trouble when it gets there. So, and I think I did see at least one person ask for Master Blaster, and I will share it with you.
Right, we're getting a couple of questions about they're not seeing the red line. So just keep in mind, everybody, if you just type a symbol into the chart manually, you won't see that hard red line like Andy's seeing. You have to double click on an alert window that's using new high as the catalyst, or new low if you want to see the support. If you're double clicking from an alert window using new high or new low, you'll see those lines. But if you're just manually typing in a symbol or double clicking from a top list, you'll just see the regular smart layer.
Yep. That's a very, I'm glad somebody brought that up. You're exactly right. It does work. This is actually a new high filtered because I don't want to continue to get the same stocks over and over. So this is kind of a filtered one that I'm using, but so it does work for a new high filtered. Good. I'm glad you're seeing it there, Bill. And Omar, I'm glad you guys are getting it. So great stuff. Real quick, I do want to, before we hand it back over to Scott, I do want to give you guys some stocks that I think you might want to keep an eye on. Okay, the first one I'm going to bring up, and I'm not going to drop these into a price alert. I don't have time to do that and to share them with you. So you might want to jot them down, or if you're hopefully have our trade ideas up, you can do the same. But here is EAT Rink, which you can see right now it's been in a long downtrend. Well, it's been fighting back, and it has about 20% short float. So definitely one you want to keep an eye on. I would probably, use this level right here as maybe an area that I would want to see it to get through. And this would be, taking out this kind of level of resistance. So keep an eye on this one. If it does get above the, 34.25 level, maybe one to watch because it could potentially be breaking a downtrend. This is what we call our Trend Change Pro, stocks that have been in a downtrend that you may want to keep an eye on. The next I have, I think it's also on here, is, I think I saw it earlier, it may have fallen off. Let me see. It was Play. Keep an eye, this is Dave & Buster's. Okay, another restaurant chain, been in a long-term downtrend, but look right here. It's running into this level of support, resistance. Boom, 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 and it came close today. So if it does trade above 50, guys, you might want to keep an eye on that one. And what I'll do is go ahead and I'll mark it up here. This is what you would do. Just create a little price alert. And you can come and call this TCP, Trend Change Pro. Change that to 50. Save. Now I just created me a little price alert right there. I'm seeing, okay, LB. I want you to keep an eye on LB. Now it looks a little bit better on the 3-month time frame, but let's zoom out. And you can see it's been in a long downtrend. This one's a tough level for me. I would basically like to see it get through this level right here, which is the 50. Once again, another 50. 50 is a big number today. So what you might want to do is create a price alert. I'm just going to leave it at 352. And I'll mark this up TCP, Trend Change Pro, and now I have my price alert. I mentioned to you about NQ. I'm not going to go over that one, but I will. One I want you to keep an eye on, and this is just my discretionary one because kind of been watching it because since earnings, it's been kind of selling off. Keep an eye on IBM, and if it can get above pretty much right where it's saying profit target, if it can get above this 1, 2, 3, 4-day high here, let's just call it 150. Let's just say 152, right on the alerts, and I'm not just going to just save it for myself. Keep an eye on IBM. It's kind of in a down, had earnings, had a huge move, good earnings, but it's been in what I like about it is it filled the gap right here at 150. See this little gap? Came down there, filled it. So keep an eye on this one if it does get back above the 152 level. All right, let me see if there's any questions left here that I didn't hit on. Okay. Yes, Dan, you do not set the red line. Our technology sets it for you. So let me pull over here to another high alert, which is Dillard's. Let's see if we have one in here. Yes, we do. This one was Dillard's today. Now, I did it right on the close, but look exactly where it went up to, the red line. Our technology will draw it for you on any high alert that you're using. Remember, you have to be using a high alert or a high filtered. Okay, you cannot come over here on this top list and see the lines. Okay, that's the one I actually just drew. Builder, let's put this one. Look at Builder today. Another one ran right up to its level, the line there, and you'll find it. Let's test the lows and see if there's one. No, I'm not seeing. A lot of these you're going to see on their own multi-year lows. And Jamie, you're quite sure that they show them on the low side, right? It's not just high, it also does it on the low. I haven't looked that hard on the low side.
I'll have to confirm that, but
okay.
I think, of course, I haven't really been looking at those myself here lately, but we'll find.
Yeah, we'll find out for sure, guys. I'll definitely test that, and if they do, I'll have it for next week in their webinar. But that's about it, guys. I hope you, let me see, I do have one more here, CHL, I think this was on, this is one to watch if it gets above, it's another China play, China Mobile, if it does get above the 31 level, 31, 33 level, maybe 50, might want to set one there. All right, guys.
Hey, somebody's asking for your extreme volumes as well. Would you mind dropping those in the chat?
Not at all. Let me just go do that real quick. Let me put it back on.
And I just took the opportunity to scroll through some alerts using, let's see here, using Nulo filtered, and I'm not really seeing any support lines pop up, but I could have swore the other day.
Yeah, we will definitely look into that because I haven't noticed them. It seems like I would have noticed them by now, but we'll definitely find out for sure for you guys. All right, let's pull back up the stack here, and I'm going to invite Scott to come back in, and he's going to walk you guys out. Hang on, because I think he's going to be offering you a discount, guys. So, Scott, if you're ready, you can come back in and walk us out of here.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Andy. Yeah, first, there's a new podcast coming out tomorrow, so you should all be subscribers. Just open your favorite podcast app, search for Trade Ideas Podcast, and add that to your subscription list. Then you get a new podcast tomorrow around 3 or so Pacific time, so it'll be there for the weekend. You can listen to it Friday evening, Saturday morning, whatever you're doing, and it's going to be nice little discussion about what is happening in the world of trading technology and what's going on in Jamie and Dan's brains. So tune in for that. We have a promotional code that will give you a discount, 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas. So just use that code Studio Time. You can also download a PDF with this and some of the other slides in it. Just expand the handouts panel on your GoToWebinar interface and click on the blue link for the PDF and download that to your desktop. Then you can Keep this code remembered. It's good this month. It's all caps. It's case sensitive. And remember that any of our subscriptions, and even including the $99 a month standard subscription, includes a full hour of one-on-one training. So whether you're getting premium or standard, you still get that concierge service for onboarding. So after you become a subscriber and have attended some of the trading room sessions, some of our webinars, watch the videos, you'll probably have a bunch of questions. So then you schedule the one-on-one training and get that head start. If you have any questions for us, email us info@trade-ideas.com. Go ahead and follow Jamie on Twitter at QuantBot. Steve Gomez is at Today Trader. And of course, we have Dan Merkin at Trade Ideas 1 and also at Trade Ideas. And again, any questions, email info@trade-ideas.com. All right. Thanks, everyone. They'll be recording up later tonight or tomorrow morning. Thanks, all.
Thanks, guys. Don't forget about the session tomorrow, support session, 11 Eastern time.
Yep.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.